Hey UConn Nation, it's KK Arnold here. If you're looking for the latest UConn women's basketball content, go subscribe to listen up to Phil and Ryan. Go Huskies!
Phil and Rye on Listen Up. Thank you, KK and Rye. The UConn Huskies win this one. Final score: Connecticut 83, Villanova 52. Sarah Strong pours in 21 for UConn. Although there's some more serious talk and more serious business to try to discover with Ryan's game recap, I'm sure it's overshadowed. Usually we're happy to hear it, Ryan. But as we know today, you texted me and you said, Phil, we can't catch a break. Well, I'm not, downgrading this team anymore from those two tough losses. But I'll tell you what, Ryan, it just makes it that much more, and it's realistic, and I'm just telling you how it is, the truth. It's pretty sad because, again, when this team is almost at full strength, they still lost them 2 games. And again, I'm sorry to bring it up, but now it's even that much more worse because you told me today Bueckers suffered a knee injury. Here according to Mel Greenberg, Bueckers on the bench with an ice pack on the knee, and this was 14 minutes ago. A lot to talk about in these next 10 to 15 minutes, Ryan. What do you think? Because again, when this team is almost at full strength, still having trouble pulling it out against top tier opponents, now we have Bueckers. We're not too sure what's going on.
Well, today was Paige's 100th game played for UConn. She needed 33 points to reach 2,000 total for her career, and she still ended up with 15 points today, despite exiting the game early near the end of the third quarter there. But Sarah Strong started us off with the three-pointer. UConn got their inside game rolling in the first quarter right away. Jana El Alfie gets another start for UConn. Missed an easy open layup to start, but rebounded later to get 2 shots down inside the paint. I liked how UConn was running the floor, getting out ahead of Villanova in transition, and that allowed the Huskies to get a head start. A lot of easy open looks in transition today for the Huskies. However, on defense, there were too many open shots I saw allowed in the first quarter. The Wildcats got a good amount of those open looks. But UConn, though, they extended their lead with an 11-2 run towards the end of the quarter that included a couple three-pointers. UConn up by 8 early, and the Huskies yet again went on another scoring run. This time it was a 10-0 run. And there's a couple of things that UConn does consistently well every single game, and that's passing and their defensive intensity. Villanova looked lost at times. Jasmine Bosco, we talked about her in the last check-in, averages 15 points as a freshman. She only had 4 in the first half on 1 of 10 shooting. So again, UConn doing a good job slowing down the opposing team's leading scorer. And the passing, again, was on point for the Huskies, finding their open teammates, getting a lot of open looks. 16 assists on 17 field goals made in the first half. Sarah Strong already up to 17 points, and the Huskies got a pretty sizable lead yet again at the break, 43-24. And I think today, one of the most efficient shooting performances of the season by UConn. It's just amazing to see them rack up all the assists, the chemistry that this team continues to show off. In a pretty scary moment, like you mentioned, at the end of the third quarter, it was Bosco diving for a loose ball, Paige getting her leg rolled up on. She was able to go back to the locker room and then later came back to the bench. She had ice on her knee and ankle towards the end there, and obviously pretty visibly frustrated and upset. Of course, this is Paige's last year. It's championship or bust for her and this whole team. So hopefully she doesn't have to miss any time. But definitely something to monitor and keep an eye out for as UConn quickly approaches their next game on Wednesday night. But on a more positive note, of course, UConn getting another pretty big win today. Another unreal performance from the freshman phenom, Sarah Strong. she did a little bit of everything today. Jana played well. I think she's going to continue to learn and develop for the Huskies. And Paige, despite exiting early, as I said, had a pretty efficient scoring day. And we've said this a lot this year, an all-around team win again for the Huskies.
All right, let's go over to comments, Ryan, and please, I will stay tuned. Keep me updated on Paige Bueckers. Prayers for Paige Bueckers going out on social media everywhere, and we'll raise them up right here back in Maryland for her, Ryan. Let's go over to BRN Soldier. Hey, Phil and Rye. I believe AZ is going to have a good game on Sunday. I think she's due. Most of her shot goes halfway down and then pop out.
Yeah, I think she played pretty well today. I mean, only 8 points, but it's not too bad of a shooting performance today. Didn't really get a lot of shots up, probably like she's used to having. But I think everybody played pretty well today for UConn. I think AZ struggled a little bit there early to find her shot, but eventually got a couple to go in. I think for AZ, it's still kind of getting used to the pace of play, trying to adjust herself to get back into the game. But I think she's eventually going to have a couple of those games where she finds her shot and probably gets into double digit scoring a lot more often here as we get further down into the season.
Oh, Yolanda McKay says, right, Christina Dulce plays for LSU, not Maryland. Well, thanks for the correction, Yolanda, if that is correct. Jason D'Amico said, UConn wins, but I would like to see our players make a concerted effort to find open players that are cutting to the hoop. This is an ongoing problem that needs to be fixed before March. I can't tell if it is a talent issue or if they are afraid to make a mistake because of Gino's wrath. Either way, we need to find open players. Paige would have almost 10 more points per game if her teammates would find her when she cuts. I don't care if Jesus himself is coaching on the sideline. When the best basketball player in the nation makes a cut to the hoop with her hand in the air, you throw her the darn ball. Phew, rant over. I feel better now. Peace.
Yeah, well, I'm showing here Christina Dulce playing for Maryland, but yeah, I think for UConn they definitely found a lot of open teammates today, had a lot of open looks again. I think the on-ball screens or off-ball screens even running those plays, getting all these players open, and I think most of the time they are finding those open shots. And like I said, they definitely got a lot of them today. And I think throughout the system, again, like I said, consistently something UConn has done well is passing the ball and just the amount of chemistry that everybody has on the floor, just racking up the assists every single game. But I think definitely down low to get Jan and Ice rolling a little bit more. Try to get them a couple more looks down inside so they can have more confidence and build up that confidence for them playing in the post area.
All right, let's go over one more. Stevie Kinsey said, I honestly think that having KK come off the bench is more valuable than having her start. KK, Ash, then when Aubrey comes back, those three coming off the bench plus our freshman is a huge strength of ours.
Yeah, I agree with that. And again, KK got a good amount of minutes today, despite coming off the bench and another consistent shooting performance, 6 to 7 today, 15 points. So I think for KK, it doesn't matter when or how she comes into the game. As long as she gets the opportunities and a good amount of minutes played, she's going to find a way to always make an impact for the team, whether it's on offense or defense. And most likely it's always on defense. But these last couple of games, she's really found her shot, driving to the basket, hitting a couple of those mid-range shots. So when she gets rolling on that like offense, like Gino said, that's a KK that they need for the rest of the season. And when she's on fire like that from offense, it's definitely a huge added bonus.
Hey, I have to ask you, Rye, while you're on here, Donnie Lawson said, Phil and Rye, what do you know about the possibility of Caroline Ducharme ever playing ever again? She would be a game changer for sure. And while I ask you that, do you have any update on Aubrey Griffin? Have we seen Aubrey Griffin yet this season? I don't think so.
No, and I think I don't think Aubrey was participating in the pregame warm-ups again today. I think she did some off the side work, so no real update for Aubrey Griffin's return, but hopefully it'll be some point this month as we were expecting. As for Caroline Ducharme, I honestly haven't seen anything on her throughout this whole entire season. Like we said during the off season when we talked about her, it's just one of those really unfortunate things because of how great that she played during her freshman year and the past 2 years dealing with those head injuries. I think it's just one of those things where you can't really have a real update or put out news with real confidence with an injury like that. So with Caroline being able to play this season or next season, I don't really think many people know, when it comes to that. But obviously, the hope is that she'd be able to return sometime in the future.
All right, Ryan and I have some major changes coming hopefully at the end of the month. You want to make sure to stay tuned for that. We appreciate each and every one of you. Like, comment, and subscribe. Ryan, the latest I have is 9 minutes ago. According to Miss Alexa, she says on X, posted on X, concern in Villanova where Paige Bueckers went down with a left knee injury, diving after a loose ball. Visibly emotional Bueckers returned to the bench with ice on her left knee and ankle and did not return to the game, Ryan, like you mentioned. And then it goes on to say Gino told SNY Paige is, and in quotes, pretty good. She'll be fine. So again, that's the latest we have. Ryan, we promise each and every one of them, we will keep everyone updated, hopefully break down the Paige Bueckers news when we can find out something and maybe have another episode right back here on Listen Up.